Hello, Adam Bazalgett here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, the only 2 drills you'll need for the perfect golf swing takeaway. What is a perfect golf swing takeaway? What would it look like? We'll look at that, and we'll give you those 2 drills. So what would entail a perfect golf swing takeaway? Well, does it blend the club, the arm motion, and the body motion together? Well, is it on plane? We'll examine that just here in just a second there. And finally, of course, is it simple and repeatable for you? So when you get to a golf course, you can make it at time and again. Let's look in slow motion.
So blend of body, arms, and club. Let's have a look on the left there. You can see the triangle formed by my arms is pretty stable. There's definitely some pivot, but there's also a little bit of motion in the golf club there. So that looks pretty simple. Let's check it from here. Yep, good blend. Now, swing plane, you'll see that diagonal yellow line up the shaft. Staying very close to that swing plane. It's not manipulated, but that's the idea. And in terms of simplicity, if your spine angle's pretty consistent, mine's moving just a fraction there, but if your spine angle's pretty consistent, your arms are pretty stable, you are going to have a repeatable backswing. There's a link below for a free 14-day trial at Scratch Golf Academy. If you like these videos, no credit card, no gimmicks. If you want to go try it and browse the library, we'd love to have you.
So if this takeaway is going to be simple and repeatable, you have to break it down to component parts, and there's really 2. Pivot, you could stand straight up and down and pivot around your spine. You have to be able to feel that on this angle. If your pivot is sound, pretty easy to do it. You can just practice this. That's the foundation. Next thing, of course, is the structure of the arms. This trail arm is the problem arm. So right arm for the right-handed golfer. What I see, what I've experienced in my game, what I see from teaching people over decades is this trail and an arm get too active, too broken down. At least for the first foot or so, that thing needs to stay intact and stable. Then you've got your pivot and your arm stable. You're starting to get the thing to repeat, look on plane, but you don't want it to be rigid. So let's examine that. So momentarily before we address that factor, let's just repeat pivots on the proper angle, trail side of the triangle, at least till you get past your legs, staying intact. But you can practice that. Let's try one here. You're starting to get a repeatable takeaway. So that's effectively drill 1. Get at the house 2 minutes a day, practice your pivot, put your triangle together. You don't even actually have to have a club. Just repeat that and you'll start to get getting something that's easy and functional. That's drill 1. Now, as I said just at the end of the previous segment, we still have to have some flow in the swing. So let me show you something in slow motion, then we'll show you drill number 2.
So me next to Tiger Woods, and let's have a look there. So even in the early stages, the club is not a direct line. There is some flow in the club head, or there should be, I think, and a little bit of wrist break in the early going there. Same look for Tiger Woods there. Club is not an exact straight line with the wrist. But let's have a look at another feature. Now, there's plenty of exceptions to this feature, but overwhelmingly, this is the rule, and that is the club stays near its plane. The club generally stays more on this side of the hands. Much less common to see it get there. Let's see how Lydia does with that. She kind of exaggerates that just a little bit. Let's look at one more, maybe Matt Kuchar. He's got a little bit of a flat arm plane. But again, there is some wrist motion, but you don't see the club get back here too frequently. Let's work on that.
So as we look at the history of great players, there have been a few that did this for sure. You've got Ray Floyd, let's say, John Daly. There's been others, but far and away, you'll see the club more in front of the hands. Why is this so important? Why is this such a no-no? And people do it all the time to get the club behind you. Well, the reason is, once the club's behind you, if you look at where the club's pointed now, I have to steepen it in order to hit that golf ball. Let's just teed up this high. That is challenging for most people. Most people get too steep and come over the top anyway. Unless you're highly skilled, it's hard to steepen it just the right amount. But if the club's more in front of you, its predisposition now is to flat. Picture a baseball player. This is always Leadbetter's analogy to flattens like that. It is a much preferred sort of position. Plus, the club's lighter and more in balance when it's like that. So here's a drill I think will help you feel that. What we're going to do, we'll do it without a ball first. Take my setup, just pre-hinge directly up. I'm not lifting my arms up. I'm not lifting my body up. I'm just hinging. And you can do this in differing amounts, maybe that or that. And once I've had a good pause, then I start my backswing and hit a nice smooth shot. Very important when you start that backswing, don't take the club inside. Just feel the balance of it. Pivot this way. Let's try one with a ball here. Just a smooth, small shot. Pre-hinge. Pivot. Cup drops in the slot just fine. And I'm starting to feel the balance of the club. In other words, the wrist cock I am creating to give it a little bit of flow is much more this than it is this. Now, certainly, I mean, listen, the reality is when you pivot, this arm and wrist are going to fold a little bit. So it isn't going to be directly that, but you want to err towards that for sure. What I would do is I would do a few of those drills, then just hit a couple of shots. Then I might do a couple of these drills just a little bit like that. But then on a very solid hit, don't care. And start to blend it in and then work back to this and keep cycling through these drills, build the structure in it, then start to build a little bit of flow, then hit a few regular shots. And I think before long, you're going to have a good structured pivot. This is going to stay intact long enough. You'll have some feel for the club head swinging, but it won't be going over here. And I'm confident if you'll work on it, take some work, it will be repeatable. It'll be a big plus for you in your golf.